Oh, hello again. Just a little video today. It's very windy out today, so I hope the wind noise isn't too bad anyway. You find me, a lot of people have commented, which is something, when you live in a place you don't necessarily realise, but quite a few people have commented that they like they often hear the birds in the background when I do garden videos. I do feed the birds here. I know that's not possible for everyone to do that through some circumstances. A lot of people don't even have gardens, but we're quite lucky here, as you know. I'm quite rural, and we do have a huge variety of birds that come into the garden, I do put different foods out, obviously to attract different birds. But something quite important, if you do have these type of bird feeders, this one here is a relatively smaller one. I put what we call sunflower hearts in this. That's like shelled sunflower seeds, and the smaller birds like GoldFinches, Greenfinches, they absolutely adore those. So you'll draw a lot of those smaller birds, even things like sparrows, which have been in danger in this country, in the UK. We have loads of sparrows back again now, I'm pleased to say. But a very important thing to do regularly is wash your bird feeders out. Since 2006, there has been a horrible, I'm not sure what I think it's a parasitic disease, and I can't even pronounce it, so I'll put it in text along the bottom, that has been affecting particularly greenfinches, which is a lovely little garden bird we get here in the UK, and it has wiped out a huge number of these greenfinches. And so obviously you really do want to keep bird feeders really clean, and what I do is I wash them out with nothing special. It's just a bit of antibacterial washing up liquid in some warm water. Then obviously naturally I really rinse them tremendously well and dry them off before refilling them. Very important to do. They do get clogged up, they do get yucky in the bottom, they even start to go mouldy, and obviously that can spread these diseases that birds get. And so very important regularly to clean your feeders out. And we'll perhaps go and have a look at some other feeders that I've got around about the garden and what I've got in those. So I'll continue on. I've got another one to wash out, and then I'll fill this back up with sunflower hearts. I'm not sure how well you'll see this. I'm quite some distance from the camera, and it's very windy. But this, just to unhook this one, it's pretty yucky. It's all compacted down. The sunflower gets a lot of these sunflower hearts, get a lot of dust in them, and it goes pretty yucky. So I like to tip them out into a container, and you can take the bird feeder apart. I think that one comes off. It's got a hook that comes out the bottom, like so, and that can go in the water, and then the bottom. And you can see it's really quite yucky, and these were done only a matter of a few weeks ago, in the autumn, and obviously it's now early December, so it's a good idea. You really do want to sort of wash your bird feeders out as regularly as you can, and it's very beneficial obviously to the birds as well. You'll find they do get blocked, and the birds don't like if the sunflower hearts go mouldy, the birds won't eat them anyway. So there, I've got those two washed out, and they look a lot better. Quick and easy job to do. I've just done it outside here and then rinsed them inside. So not difficult, and it pays dividends for the birds to keep any sort of parasitic or infectious diseases that obviously, and the sunflower hearts tend to go mouldy as well, which doesn't help then. So well worth doing. Just wash your feeders out regularly. So these are the sunflower hearts that I was talking about. These are sunflowers that have just had the husk, taken off, and obviously, smaller birds, so like the finches, sparrows, or many birds. You'll even if your bird is if your bird feeders are quite big, you'll even get things like starlings, and any birds will come and try and take these if they can. I've even known massive great pigeons try and sit on and balance. Yeah, most birds like these, but they are really for the smaller type garden birds, and they do love them, and it's a more economic way of buying them than just in the black sunflowers we find. That they seem to waste so many of those. So I'll fill my feeders back up now. And there we go, that looks so much better, and as I say, so much better for the birds. And you do find, as I say, more importantly than keeping it nicely cleaned out, that they do get, if they get wet, and they do tend to get clogged up if you don't keep them well washed out. And as I say, it's good for the birds as well, that you keep them nice and clean. So that's got those two washed out and hung back, filled up and hung back from where they came from. We'll just have a look now what else I put out for the birds. I do put some, you'll see down there's a tray with some wild bird food in that, and obviously that's for very small, like ground feeding birds. You do have to be careful if your area you have a bad mice or rat problem. Obviously don't go putting food on the floor. Luckily here we don't, and obviously that is only put out in the hours of lightness, when it gets light, in the morning, and as soon as it's dark, that's put away, not left out, obviously, because you can soon, obviously it's a free food source for any mice and rats, and you don't want those very often round your property. Well, I don't anyway. I absolutely hate rats. I'll tolerate mice. Bless them, they're quite cute little things. We get quite a few field mice here, particularly in my old wooden workshop there. But I do not like rats. I have a few stories of having encounters with rats in my days in the building trade, working on very old houses. So yeah, I mean, that is only put out, say, from 8 o'clock till 3:30, and then that is taken in or shut in a place where rodents can't get at it. But ground feeding birds, there's one over there now, when you can see that, there's a little Dunlin hedge sparrow diddling away over there. That they love that kind of wild bird food. So do robins. All manner of birds will come down there, and it's quite sheltered under that table there, and so that's a good way. Obviously a bird table is okay as well, is probably even better. There again, we don't have a big cat problem here, thankfully, and so there's not a lot of threats. The biggest threat we have to small birds here is sparrowhawks, and I'll perhaps say a little bit more about that in a minute. You can see there again in that twisted nut tree, or Harry Lauder's walking stick nut tree as some people call it, we've got another sunflower heart feeder there. That offers good cover for smaller birds because they can hide up into the twisted sort of branches, and gives them some good cover, which the smaller birds love as well. As I was saying, we have a big problem here of sparrowhawks that try and come in. They swoop in over the field there. Obviously that's a huge expanse of open meadowland over there, there's in all about 300 acres of it, and they tend to swoop in over the hedge. And very clever birds. They've learned that if they come and surprise these birds, it tends to panic them and pushes them up towards the house, and often the birds are in a panic, and they'll hit the big patio window or one of the upstairs windows and obviously knock themselves out, and the sparrowhawk will swoop down and pick them up and fly off with them. And they've learned how to do this, you know, that if they come in from a certain angle and spook these little birds, that the birds take off in a blind panic, and you know, obviously not really looking where they're going, thinking, you know, probably they're thinking the window they can see through and fly through, and just go straight into the big patio door window, and obviously stun themselves, and the sparrowhawk cleverly just swoops down onto the patio and scoops the bird up in its claws. So very, very clever birds, you know, how they learn and get used to where you're feeding birds. So you know, but that's part of the nature and wildlife, and you know, you'll never stop that, unfortunately, and I wouldn't try to. You know, we have another feeder there, which has got black nigella seeds in. There again, a lot of the finches and real smaller birds will come and take those, and absolutely love those. So they're black nigella, very fine little black seeds. Nigella, you might know it better as you know, it's kind of like a garden plant called Love in the Mist. That's nigella. Then we've got a big round cylindrical metal feeder there with peanuts in. They are there again, special bird peanuts. And then there's a squirrel proof sunflower heart feeder, because we do get quite a lot of squirrels here, and they've chewed some of our feeders to death. You know, squirrels will chew right through the plastic, and there again, with that cage round them, birds tend to feel a little bit more safe in there as well. Like I say, we are very open here to you know, attacks by sparrowhawks on the smaller birds. So as I say, that's, you know, what I feed the birds with, and it's a joy to come into the garden and see the smaller birds and hear them. That's what I like, definitely. Also, while you're feeding the birds, you know, you've got to make sure they've got a supply of water, and obviously we have a nature pond there which is a bit full of leaves, and I've got to spend some time getting the leaves out of that. But we also have a container down there with water which they'll come and drink from. And obviously, if the weather freezes, you know, you've got to come and tip that out and put some fresh water in it every day. But we'll break the ice and fill it with some, you know, fresh water. You know, keep it unfrozen. What I was trying to say. Obviously, very important. And we do have a little old bird table over there. That there again, we tend to put some on that. Which there again, you get a different variety of birds. We do get a huge variety of birds here, from, you know, say from the smaller finches right through to, you know, anything from magpies, woodpeckers. I've even got a little bit of footage that I'll put in this video of a jay, which is just started coming on, and these very peanuts that I'm looking at now. And it's years since I've seen a jay in the garden, and then, you know, just one turns up. We have, you know, many blackbirds and all the you know, common you know, garden birds, and it's lovely to see them. And thankfully round here they still seem to be doing quite well, I think, which is good. watching, and please do like or subscribe if you like. As I always said, does help us smaller channels. So thank you again to everyone and your great comments, and much appreciated. And see you very shortly with another video. And bye for now.